D&D Stalkers.
Hi, I'm Assassination, and welcome to D&D Stalkers. Today, I would like to show you my world creation for Dungeons & Dragons using the Roll20 platform. I found out about Roll20 from online Dungeons & Dragons back in 2019 when I was starting to get back into playing D&D after more than a 25-year hiatus. What I really liked about Roll20's platform was the ability to be able to create in a very simple, comprehensive, and streamlined way. Now, with that being said, there are a few things I had to learn about, especially the free account and paid account levels for what you can do and have access to in game. Once that was done, I started to experiment with what could be created. Now, there are some things that Roll20 still needs to improve upon, especially when it comes to things like animations, but overall, I'm more than pleased with their product. So, let's check out my world, the world of Past Haven. Now, the way I started this out was with looking for art. Art for game use can be exciting if you're an artist, or know an artist that can get you some art for free, but be mindful that art you pull from the internet can be licensed. So make sure you check that first. With that being said, when I made this world, I personally didn't do any of that first. Now, Roll20 also has ways to incorporate sound files and music. These fall under the same licensing principles as art, so please look at copyrights when you use these features. Roll20 does have some extensive sound files located in a jukebox that you can use free of charge. With Past Haven, my goal was to create a world that was not typical of a normal D&D setting. I wanted to have an open world field, but have specific quests that are located in the world that doesn't adhere to party levels or party composition. Meaning, if you were to travel in my world as a low-level character, you could stumble across dangers that are well above your level. Another thing I did was to set up a playstyle for characters with the daily goal of working for a living that doesn't have to be tied to or incorporated through adventuring. We all know that adventuring is the overall goal, but I just wanted to add a little more realism to the game. I thought this would also lead to some great in-game roleplay for my player characters. Okay, enough of that. Let's take an in-depth look at our world map. So, this map was created using internet art, Roll20 art, and some personal art at times. I would suggest just trying different things until you find out what you like. I use Roll20 in conjunction with things like PowerPoint, Photoshop, 3D Paint, and the snipping tools. The spinning icon you see on the screen now represents the party's location, which can be moved throughout the map, as so. Another thing I want you to notice is as I move it or as I hover over the icon, there's something that Roll20 added recently called a mouse over that lets you know, like when you're hovering over something, exactly what it is. You can add these to your different objects that you place on your map. Roll20 backgrounds comes in the three forms: an object layer or token layer, the map layer, and then you have the GM or DM layer, which basically, as party members or as players, you cannot see what's on the GM level. So this is how this token looks when it's moved around. Okay. So the start city that you see here, or where the token is located, is a city that is called Galendorf. I would normally start my campaigns for my players there because it basically has everything located in it. It has guild halls, markets, and even an established military presence. But before we get into the capital city of Ganondorf, let's zoom out and see other features that encompass the world map. So currently, I'm sitting at a zoom feature of 200%, so I'm going to zoom out. And I'm going to use the party token just to kind of show you exactly where I'm looking as I do this. So I'm going to take the party token, I'm going to move it over here. Okay, so as you look here, you see that not only are there different types of climates, so you see to the north a snow or frozen land tundra, but here where it says Dreadpool Islands, I'm actually created a swamp and jungle area. And I'm going to show you one more thing while we're looking in this area. I'm going to move the party token just here, and then I'm going to zoom back in to about 200%. So as you're looking at this, you see this landmass here and the word Ziggurat there as a known location. So these map markers, so these are known locations. But you'll see something written right next to it in white that says the flooded Ziggurat. Now, this thing right here that's written in white, this is on one of those layers I was telling you about. This is actually on the GM layer. Okay, this is on the GM layer. So players who are playing your game will not be able to see this written here. Now, what I did when I had the idea of creating my world maps, I was actually creating one-shots as well. All the one-shots that I created, I actually incorporated also into my world map to be used in the campaign setting. So everywhere on my world map that has white writing that's hidden in the GM layer actually represents a one-shot that's now tied into this world. Okay, so let's travel up north. So up north, you see we're coming to a different type of climate. It's more of a frozen tundra. Another thing I did when I build my maps, I like adding different things like clouds. You'll see the trees that I've used to have shadows on them. The trees aren't actually to scale. They just represents the different size of a forested area. A lot of trees in one area means very thick. A few trees is actually sparse, but there is forest located in those areas. There's some places I put on my map that have no name. That may not have been discovered, or maybe there was tell of it, so it is discovered, but you as an adventuring party has never been there. So I had things like that. Some other things I add as map features as I move the party token here is you'll see roads. So I have roads and I have rivers incorporated in different spots on the map. Okay, as we traveled west or eastward, I'm sorry, you'll see we'll come to an area called Felgate Bridge. This is actually a frozen bridge that connects these two land masses, and it's used in the lore of Pasthaven itself as a special thing I won't share with you. But so let's keep going west as we now leave Frostmoor. Right, we're leaving Frostmoor. We're coming over to Plantia. Okay, the landmass of Plantia. And as you get out here, you see there's a lot of open areas that don't have any particular established settlements or cities. This is intentionally done for the freedom of the GM or DM to come up with other different scenarios. And there's so much that can be done here. You know, it's a very good thing to have that as a possibility for GM. Now here you'll see surrounding the land masses of Pasthaven is something called the Forbidden Sea. One thing that I love about Roll20 is its notes. So I'm gonna go into notes and I'm gonna show you what I have written for the Forbidden Sea. So this is a note for the Forbidden Sea. Another thing is a zoom feature because you can actually add pictures to your notes, which is really, really nice. So this is the zoom picture for my notes. So as I'm describing the sea to the player characters, I can actually show them a visual. And I will read, because there's actually a note section where you can write a description or whatever you want to say about this area. And you can put it to where your players can read it. So you can put it in a player's note, or you can put it in a GM where only you can see it. So if it's something you want to read that the players you don't want them to see, you can do that as well on the note. So this note reads, "There's a point where even the most seasons of captain dare not venture beyond. Many tales of strange creatures have thwarted the travels of many a brave crew and turned their hearts from impending doom. This rough and calamitous sea rolls with ferocious, unpredictable storms day and night. It is as if the very sea itself is keeping all vessels of men and monsters away from its private domain. The great bard Jessamine once wrote a sonnet, "To the sea, our foe," which depicts the waters coveting the love of treasures from men. So I love the aspect where you can have notes and talk about different things of that nature in the game, on your maps, to talk about your different areas. And also saves you from writing a lot on paper or typing. You can just put it in game and store it in your journal files, which is a great tool to have, a great asset. All right, I'm gonna zoom out just a little bit, giving you a little bit more view of Plantilla. Now, Plantilla as a continent, in my how I run it, is an entire continent that is ruled by an ancient dragon. So that's why you see there's a mountain here. I bring the party token down to the mountain. And a few things that I did that sometimes ties up computing power, as you'll see as I zoom in on this mountain, you'll see that there's flashes of lightning coming from dark clouds above it. That's in a perpetual darkness around the mountain. So Roll20 does have ways for you to do this, but a lot of times if you add too much or incorporate it with sound files at the same time, it can definitely create a lag on the servers and in your computer. So just be wary of that when you. Okay, so let's continue traveling south. As you see, we're just hitting the borders of everything, and you see we have a map legend. Several different areas in the water. A map legend just showing you the fortresses, large cities, regular cities, villages, ruins, farmlands, and boat piers or docks. So map legend covers that. So if you don't know what something is, you can press it on the map, on the map legend. Okay, so in the south, you see we come to nearly a South Pole type region, which is Glockmore here, where the city of Glockmore, which is basically a large village of wild barbarians. And you see across the waters on the other side is where we get back into Nomoir, which is the capital city of Galendorf is located. And you see cities like Frigid Lock, Zinniac. Next to Zinniac, there's another one-shot that I did called Along Came the Bard, which, incorporated in it. Okay, so we'll continue to travel. And everywhere you see these little words and writing on the DM layer that you can see right now, because you're viewing this as a GM because you're viewing it through my eyes, the one-shot is located. So we'll travel forward. And you can see as we get into the mainlands, there's grasslands here, iron hills, mountains, there's desert areas, so when you want to incorporate different creatures, and the sky's the limit when you plan on a map like this. Also, as I zoom in, I'm going to show you there's rivers, right? So there's grasslands, there's rivers, there's farms, houses, different things of that nature. As we come over through the forest, I have some map weather effects going on. As you can see right here, it's raining, okay? Right just west of Grove Lake. Elfinor Forest, and there's handout for everything that's written here. There's actually handouts for that describes them and gives a little bit more insight and detail to it. I'm gonna take you over here to just below the Markovian Desert to High Mountain Pass. This is actually a quest also I have that is basically it's more of a dungeon type quest that it's really just a travel path that goes through the mountain. It's not really a one-shot. But it's like an encounter map. Okay, so you have the High Mountain Pass, and if you look at this mountain, I got clouds right above it, and I actually have snow that's falling down over the top of this mountain. Some other key features I'm gonna continue to show you as we start to move to the north a little bit more. We're now looking at a 230% zoom level. Okay. You can see all this. I have a Pangea. Then I also have above it Pangea Minor. This is actually a floating landmass that hovers above an existing city by the same name underneath it. There's a lot of lore to that as who runs it, but that's all in the notes and for player characters to find out, including yourself if you wanted to use a map like this or use my map. So speaking of that, I also do want to make this available to personnel who may want to use the map that I have created. I love sharing content. I love creating. So I do not have any qualms with letting, if you have a Roll20 account and you want to use my maps with some of the stuff I have set up and all of that, I have no problem letting you do that, because I definitely have the game copied, so can't really mess it up for me. So if that's something you're interested in, you can hit me up in the description below. I have my Roll20 contact, and my Yahoo contact would be there if you look at that. So this is a look at a map that I created on a Roll20. A lot more detail, a lot more stuff I could talk about when it comes to this and how to create. Maybe you need to know how to use 3D Paint or how to encompass Photoshop and things of that nature in applying things to Roll20. If so, just hit me up. As I said before, this is a channel that's brand new and it's dedicated to everything D&D. So please like, subscribe, leave a comment below. And you can also find other projects and contents in the links below that I'm tied to. I also help run a campaign that's live streamed on the Advent 5 channel. So I appreciate you tuning in. Like I said, if you have any questions, please hit me up. My information is in the description below. Have a great day.